These jobs do not care about you. And if you didn't know, now you do know. These jobs are going to replace you tomorrow if you got sick today. They don't give you no 2-week notice when they fire you. Why are we giving them a 2-week notice? Let's be for real. These jobs want you to come in and break your back for them, and they don't show no appreciation. Okay? But the thing is, without an employee, there's no company. You need the employees for your company to keep moving, because you're not going to do all the work. I have not worked in almost 2 months due to my son being sick. And when I walked into work this morning to help them, do you think they asked me how my son's doing? No, they asked me, can I work a double tomorrow? No, baby, I cannot. Y'all do not care. And that's why so many people is leaving these corporate jobs and starting their own business. A small business don't sound too bad right about now.
I just saw a woman on here in tears because she said her company just announced that there will be no holidays. No paid holidays for 2025. I remember hearing not that long ago about a woman who passed away while she was at her job, and they didn't discover her for days. You probably heard about the man who was working, I think he was like a McDonald's employee for like 20-something years, never missed a day. And to celebrate his huge accomplishment, they gave him like a pizza party, like a keychain, and some other company like paraphernalia. Take your PTO. Take whatever time you need. When you're sick, call in. When something goes on in your life, take the time off. These companies always want to say, we're a family, we're a team. No, I want you to hear me and hear me clearly. A job ain't nothing but work. Say it with me. I know it's bad English, but say it again. A job ain't nothing but work. That's right. Those people don't care about you. You could die today and your job will be posted tomorrow. Stop giving your all for these companies and thinking that you're going to be rewarded with anything other than a pizza party and a thumbs up.
The problem with 9-to-5 jobs isn't the job itself. It's everything that comes with it. You may only work 40 hours a week, but you sacrifice way more than that. First of all, half of your waking hours are either spent preparing to work or commuting to and from work. When it comes time to enjoy the other 4 hours you have every workday, you're kind of too tired to do anything that you really like to do, so you settle for something else, like sitting on the couch and watching Netflix. In my opinion, this isn't a good lifestyle. This is just modern day slavery. I don't see how you can describe it any other way, considering everyone is robbed of their time when they're even not actually clocked in and they're only paid pennies for it. For the life of me, I can't understand why people are okay with this. And by okay, I don't mean that people aren't complaining. Yeah, people are complaining about it. What I'm saying is no one's doing more than that. No one's saying, you know what? Screw this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to do something else. Like, this isn't 1970 anymore. The cost to start a business is virtually nothing. You don't have to be restricted to these stupid systems and these stupid ideas that don't make sense anymore.
I'm to the point where I'm just so sick of like the 9-to-5 corporate America. And the thing is, I just got here. I'm 2 years in and I'm already over it. Like the politics, the climbing up the ladder, the people in the room telling you have to work like extra hard to just make it up to the next level. When let's be real, the people probably at the top most likely didn't climb the corporate ladder. They just knew somebody. And some did, but some didn't. But this whole thing of like, we spend 40 hours of the week at work just to survive in corporate America and then survive in America and then just survive. Like, I'm so over this. Like, I have a strong like urge to live abroad because something tells me that they just are doing better and just have a happier life abroad.
Reasons I regret being a nurse. If you didn't know, I actually work as a registered nurse. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't regret being a nurse. I just hate working in a hospital. I've been working in a hospital for 3 years, and honestly, I think I had a mental breakdown this year. I had 6 days off in April, and I went to Sydney on my 6 days off, and when I came back, all I could do was cry thinking about going to work. I like called in sick for like 2 weeks, and I literally just sent them an email saying I quit out of nowhere. My manager was low-key worried about me, trying to call me. So I decided to go casual instead because I just couldn't deal with the hours and night shift. And anyone that works in a hospital, like, you guys know how hard it can be with ratios, short staffing, all the tasks you have to do. It's literally impossible. And I was leaving work more often than not so defeated and like disappointed in what I had done during the shift. When I finished year 12, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just felt pressure to study. So I was like, right, I can do a nursing degree in 2 years and get a degree. And I remember after I first started working, like 2 weeks after, I went home and I just literally cried for my mum, and I was like, this sucks. I cannot believe that this is my life now for the next 45 years. And like, I tried to like work through that feeling of being like, I kind of hate this. And I tried to just push it down, work, smile, make friends. And I love my friends at work, but like literally every week I'd be like, I hate this. I hate working in the hospital. I hate it. So when I quit and decided to go casual, I like didn't work for probably like 3 weeks because I was like, do I even still want to be a nurse? And I've done a couple casual shifts and it's great. Like, I can work when I want and I get so much more money for doing the same job. I think when I go home from Europe, I'm going to enroll to study cosmetic nursing because I feel like that's an avenue that's just a completely different type of nursing and something I'm so much more interested in than literally not getting a toilet break and not having a drink break and not being able to eat for 8 hours. Anyway, I do love being a nurse because, you know, it's interesting. You get to meet lovely people and you get to care for people. And also being a casual nurse has allowed me to be in Europe for 2 months without having to work. Even though I don't get money, it's okay, I've saved up. But anyway, I think I definitely realised that I want to do cosmetic nursing. So thank gosh I do have this degree because it allows me to be a cosmetic nurse. If you're studying nursing, keep going because it is a great career and you get so many opportunities, but hospital nursing is just not for me.
Let me give you a small glimpse, a small example, if you will, of why nursing can suck. And before you start thinking, it's because people aren't passionate about taking care of people, that's literally not it at all. Taking care of people is the easiest part of our job. It is the constant lack of resources, lack of staff, but for me, micromanaging from the managers or administration. I am a grown-ass adult. I do not need another grown-ass adult to follow me around and micromanage the fuck out of me to the point where they're writing sticky notes on things I need to do by the end of shift when it's 9 a.m. Give me a moment to show you I am already going to do those things, but none of that stuff should be done until noon. Give me a moment to show you a pattern of behavior where I don't do those things on my own. For instance, I traveled to a hospital that I truly loved, but when I got floated to this one specific telemetry unit, and that manager was there, oh my fucking God. Talk about grinding my fucking gears. If I got floated there on a weekend, I was literally so excited. I was like, fuck yeah, I don't care about being floated there. I mean, it sucks. It's not my normal. It's not ICU, but at least the manager's not there. Before you say, well, they're being micromanaged by their managers, I don't care. Do not micromanage your employees or you will be the most hated person ever. Do not send me a text and ask me why my patient has a Foley. And when I tell you they have a chronic Foley for neurogenic bladder, you say, can it come out? No. And then don't actually call me on my Vocera and say, so about that Foley, did you ask if it could come out? No, it's chronic. They have a neurogenic bladder. This person has had a Foley for 30 years now. It's staying in. And then come over to me and ask me in person, okay, but so it can't come out? Have you ever been a nurse ever? No. Jesus Christ, leave me alone. But then, after I've already charted in the fucking chart on the computer, patient has Foley, why they have Foley, cannot come out because of this reason. You hand me printed out paperwork that's literally from the chart and ask me to fill it out as to why the patient has a Foley and why it can't come out. I'm about to lose my mother effing mind. I'm not filling this out. I already did on the chart. Double charting? No thanks. I'm not doing that. Got me fucking twitching out here. And then you're like, why doesn't anyone want to stay and work in this unit? It's because of you, girl. You fucking suck.
Maybe it's just me, but as a nurse, I literally hate having one day off in between my shifts. Like, I just work 2, I'm off 1, I go back, and then I'm off 1, and then I'm on 2 again. And it's just like, every time you go back in, it's just like, I was just here.
Here's my honest review of nursing, and is it worth it? Because it has sucked. I'm just kidding. Am I? Let's just do a pros and cons list. Number 1, you only work 3 days a week, so you get 4 days off. Now, don't get me wrong, those 3 days can be a shit show. But 4 days off, man, you can't beat that. Number 2, we have infinite job security. The economy could collapse right now, but us nurses, we will always have a job. And number 3, we actually save lives, so it actually makes you feel good. Now let's do cons. Number 1, you will go through so much emotional, physical, and mental abuse. From your patients, from your coworkers, from your boss. I've had patients literally assault me. I've had coworkers backstab me and bully me. I've had bosses who just gaslight me and tell me I'm being a bad nurse even though I'm just advocating for my patients. It sucks. Second is the pay, because it's not worth it. I've been a nurse now for 4 years, and the most I ever made as a staff nurse was $31 an hour, and I was living in one of the most expensive states in the entire country. And instead, we just get called healthcare heroes all the time. You wouldn't pay Superman $31 an hour. And number 3 is that it's shift work. You work a lot of weekends, a lot of days and night shift. You work a lot of holidays. But overall, I don't regret nursing. It's really, really tough. But there are benefits to it, and it's up to you if it's worth it.
Thing I hated about working as a floor nurse was nurses wearing their burnout and their anger as a badge of honor. Coming into a hospital setting as a new nurse and feeling chipper and excited to learn, and you're passing your NCLEX or you've passed it, you're a new nurse, you worked so hard to get to this point, and then being surrounded by negativity drives me crazy. That sometimes other nurses would foster it, like, oh, I only got 3 hours of sleep last night, or different negative things that they would say. And I would see it in comments as well. It's like, what's your tip for nursing school? It's like, run. What's your tip for new grad nurse? Run, get out while you can. And I know that nurses are burnt out, mistreated, abused, all of those things. So if we could find a way to encourage new nurses to still come into the field, encourage nurses to find a place of passion that they want to work, that would be a better future for nursing than nurses wearing their burnout as a badge of honor. There's a big difference between nurse burnout and like projecting that onto others, being the negative energy, going into the nurses eating their young, right? Perpetuating that negativity. And we, as a society of healthcare workers, have to find a way to break that cycle. Otherwise, we will not get new nurses. So more nurses will leave and we will not get new nurses. People will not stay in this field.
The nursing culture is so toxic. Let's talk about it. Nurses love to gossip about each other and the people that they work around. Most likely talking about you behind your back, and you don't even know it. So the more information that you give them about your personal life, the more they're actually going to be talking about you when you're not around. It's never good things about you. I was a new grad nurse. I didn't know any better. So everyone knew everyone's business, and there was always some sort of fabricated drama, or somebody didn't like somebody. And so they wanted you to have this perception that this person wasn't a good person to work with. When you're new and people share these not so nice things about other coworkers, you'll get heavily influenced and also think the same thing. As I've gotten older, I've just become more reserved about how I interact with my coworkers, because you shouldn't trust everyone. You need to be hyper aware. I'm sharing all of this because I recently just got back into nursing and somebody reported me to HR because I record TikToks. I haven't violated anything. Also shared nothing about my personal life. I haven't shared that I make TikToks. The closest people in your circle are preying on your downfall and you don't even know who that is. Now that I'm older, I purposely don't participate in work gossip. I don't talk about people. I don't talk negative about them. I just keep my thoughts to myself. And to be quite frank, it's not nice. It's not kind. And they always say, small minds gossip, big minds talk about ideas. Don't ever take it personally, but 100% be self-aware. There are going to be coworkers that you become friends with for the rest of your life, but there are going to be people that are secretly jealous of you. I feel like in nursing is one of the most toxic places that you can be a part of, and I would say, like, I wouldn't trust everyone at all. Has anyone else also experienced a really toxic nursing environment? Let me know.
Instead of nursing schools telling us their NCLEX pass rates, I'm gonna need y'all to tell me the student drop rates. Because why did I start in a class of 112 and only graduated with about 40? Why is my best friend in nursing school too? And she started with a class of 25-ish, and it's only been about 6-ish months, and there's only like 10 left. Of course, the 3 people that made it to NCLEX passed. Tell me how many actually made it to the end of the program. That's what I actually would really like to know.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're a healthcare worker and you're miserable, this is your sign to quit. I'm not saying quit without like another option. I'm not saying put yourself in a dangerous situation, but I like put myself in a financially difficult situation by quitting, and I've never been happier. I cannot remember the last time I've been happier. And I've been talking to some of my friends from this app who have kind of like, they started out as like followers, and like now they've quit. They've changed their practice location. They've done this stuff and they feel so much better. We just need to start not accepting shithole lives as healthcare workers. It's sort of like dating. You get what you accept. If you accept a date on a bench, you're going to get a date on a bench. If you accept somebody who's inconsistent, you're going to get inconsistent. And if you stay in a job where you're miserable and nothing's getting better, you're going to be fucking miserable. So I'm just having an amazing time right now.
Does anyone know what they're doing? I graduated nursing school in March and I don't want to be a nurse. I had a full ride through a hospital and I was supposed to work there for 3 years. And if I don't work there, I have to pay all my college back. But I don't want to work there or be a nurse. But I don't know what I want to do. I have like this crazy urge that I'm young, I'm independent, like alone, and I can do whatever I want. And so I know for the next however many years, I don't want to just go to work every day. Like I want to do something bigger, but I have like no idea, and I have to pay back like all this money. I think I literally have to make this decision in 3 days, and I've had it in my mind that like I'm paying it back, I'm not being a nurse, but now like the numbers are hitting me and I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like I thought after college it would be like the best life ever, and I literally just have no idea what I'm doing. Like each day I'm like, what? I don't know what to do. I'm alone. Like I feel lonely sometimes, even though like sometimes I feel super independent and I'm like happy. I'm like proud of myself, but this makes no sense. This video is like trash, but am I alone or does anyone else feel this way?
Last week was my 1-year anniversary since leaving my corporate job, or just corporate America in general. I wanted to just share a little bit of my story/journey. I spent the first 7 years of my career working in digital marketing, media, planning, all the things across all the verticals, agency side, brand side, etc. I mean, if you work in digital marketing, you know the vibes. Throughout those 7 years, I was never really happy. Work was like a major point of stress and anxiety for me, and that just like never went away. I thought it was a me problem, but I now know that like everything, including my brain, my body, was telling me this is not right for you. So last summer, I finally listened. I quit the job that I was in and I completely pivoted. I had always wanted to do something more creative and I never quite knew what that was. I started posting on TikTok and stumbled upon UGC content creation. And that's something that I am now doing full time and taking very seriously and have grown a lot in over the last 6 or so months that I've been doing it. That has also led to other opportunities that I have just like opened myself up to, including acting and modeling. Me a year ago today would never believe anyone if they told me that, you know, I would be spending a random Monday acting as the lead in a social video for a cold brew brand. Anyway, it's just crazy. I guess what I'm saying is take the risks, like listen to yourself. If there is something telling you that whatever you're doing is not right, like listen to that voice. I'm not saying it's easy. Like I knew that quitting my job last year was a huge risk, especially because I didn't have anything lined up. I knew I would get judgment. It was hella uncomfortable telling people what I was doing because a lot of people just don't get it. And I don't care anymore, honestly. I did for a bit, but then I was like, just wait like until I have something to show for this. And now I feel like I do. Trust yourself and know that it's okay to be uncomfortable for a bit. And also you have one life. So why would you spend it being miserable doing something that you don't enjoy? I truly believe that if you want something badly enough and if all of the circumstances align, you work hard enough, then you can make it possible. You know, for the first 7 years of my career, I never even considered an alternative to working in corporate America and climbing the corporate ladder. I was brainwashed for sure. I was like, this is the only option. But now I know that's not true. So I guess maybe this is also a friendly reminder that, like, there are more options than just the one you're in. It's just really empowering working towards something that's been a dream of yours and like watching that progress be made and watching that dream come to fruition, even in a little way, you know, and like those little steps of progress made will fuel you to continue and will further build that trust and confidence in yourself that you can do it, actually, because you are doing it.
If you're seeing this, I just quit my job and finished out my 2 weeks and without a full-time job lined up. Many people would think it's crazy quitting a job in this economy without a job lined up, but I just knew that this was the right option for me. This was a long time coming, I feel. I just didn't want to accept or come to terms with the fact that I just was not in the right place for me. And at the end of the day, I was in an environment that was stunting my growth as a person, which I feel is more important than where I'm at career-wise. This is coming from someone that I would say I'm kind of scared to take risk, and I'm very much a person that craves stability and just kind of being in control of my life and always knowing what's next versus just going with the flow and putting full trust in myself that even though I'm uncertain about the next chapter, that I'll be okay. I feel like this was super big for me. If you know me in my personal life, you know that I'm a very like scared and anxious person. But I feel like now I'm almost 30 and I feel like I am in my like midlife crisis stage, and if I'm going to, you know, bet on myself and do something unconventional, I should do it now. Even if though this economy is not the best, the job market sucks, and many people probably think maybe unwise for quitting a job without a backup. I just feel so free. I'm super scared for what's next, but I'm excited to rediscover myself and figure out what my next step is.
So I'm turning 25 this year, and I'm quitting corporate America and corporate in general in a couple weeks. And it's so crazy for me to say that out loud because I genuinely thought that my goal in life was to climb the corporate ladder and just have stable income. But I feel like through relationships and life events that happened in my life this past year, I've learned so much about myself, and I feel like I've grown so much. And honestly, I would say 95% of that is because I was able to rediscover my faith and my religion, and and I can literally talk hours and hours and hours about God, but by me rediscovering that faith and rebuilding my faith, I've gained so much self-confidence, and anyone who's known me or knows me before this probably knows that I like self-confidence and confidence in general was not in my vocabulary. If anything, like I was just faking it the whole time, and I never liked anything about myself, and I was so insecure. But gaining this self-confidence from faith genuinely changed my life, like my outlook on life, and I feel like I've opened up so many new doors for myself mentally. So now I can confidently say and believe in myself when I say that I want to do art full time. I think a big part of making this decision was obviously telling my parents. And I think a lot of immigrant kids would understand that there's this unspoken pressure that we have, knowing that our parents sacrifice so much for us as to have better opportunities and all that stuff. And so I thought that my parents' vision for my success was for me to have a stable corporate job at a big, reputable company. And so that's kind of the life that I was living in my head. And I was telling myself that, okay, the final goal is for me to have a corporate job. And that is it. And I should be content and happy. And obviously, when that didn't happen, that's when I started to think about, what I genuinely enjoyed doing. And for me, that's art. So telling my parents that I'm quitting corporate and going the creative route was very nerve-wracking, but I was so surprised when they told me that they are proud and support me all the way through for me making that decision. And I don't know why, my parents are not even strict, but I just had this idea that my parents would only be proud of me if I was successful in that corporate route.
I've come back into myself pretty instantly because I've alleviated myself of a burden that I know wasn't for me for so long, and I already feel more myself.
It has been a full week since I put my 2-week notice in at my corporate America job, and let me tell you what has happened so far. First of all, my manager's response to my 2-week notice email was, "Thanks for letting me know, don't tell anybody else," and she took literally 24 hours to come up with that response. Then she took 3 days to notify everybody else, and literally only one person has said anything to me. And actually, my coworkers that I see on a daily basis have not said anything to me, which I find very odd. My manager has yet to set up a meeting with me to talk to me about it, which honestly, I don't really care, but I just find it a little strange because when I put my 2-week notice in at my last job, my manager had multiple meetings with me leading up to my last day, so I just find it very strange. But one thing my manager has done is quite literally double my workload because she's all about those timelines, and without me there, she's not going to be meeting her timeline, so she's got to get me to do as much work as possible before my last day. So love that for me. And last but certainly not least, I got another job. So when I first put in my 2-week notice for my current job, I did not have another job lined up. So it was very risky of me to do that, but I was just so done. But I did get another job, so I'll be starting beginning of June, and I'm so excited.
I quit my corporate job, and I didn't have another job lined up. So now I spend every waking moment of every day on every website applying for every job, and yet to have one interview because the job climate is so bad right now that I stress every single day how I'm going to pay my rent or afford food to eat.
Hey guys, I'm Brittany, and I just quit my job. I truly feel like I'm gonna be fine because I trust God and I trust the process. And mind you, I've never been in this situation before. I have always had 2 or 3 jobs at once since college, and being in the real world for the past 5+ years has its ups and downs, clearly. And so right now I'm just looking for a new job, and I'm excited for this future. I don't know what's in store for me, but I welcome all things good, and I trust God's path for me, and I know I'll be okay. So if you are going through this too, I feel like there's a lot of people who are in a period of transition. Just know you're not in it alone. I'm in it too.
Nursing is the most toxic profession of all time. I can't even think of another profession more toxic. If you can, let me know. We're not meant to be on such high alert for such a long period of time. We're always on constant fight or flight mode. We are always activated. Even when you're chilling, you're not chilling. The amount of anxiety, the amount of stress that is put on our minds, on our emotional well-being, no human should ever have to go through. 1 minute you're coding grandma in one room, then the next second you're getting yelled at by someone who's mad because they waited 30 minutes in the ER, and then the next moment you're coding baby, and then the next minute someone's mad at you for not bringing them water. Nah, This ain't it. People are like, oh, you just can't let it bother you. What? We are put in between life and death, and you're just expected to go home like everything's okay? And then you show up to work and people say, do better? You didn't chart this on time? You didn't give this med on time? Insane. It's insanity. I don't know how we normalize such a toxic profession. People are like, oh, you can make it better one step at a time. No, there is no getting better. This machine has too much money. One of the largest sectors, one of the largest, most profitable sectors, billions and billions of dollars I can't even imagine. Nah, we're just pawns. We're just pawns in this game. So call off, quit, or don't. Do whatever you want. None of it matters.